citrus. Let's make grapefruit marmalade. Around Christmas, I read this fabulous book by Nigel Slater, who's a very, very great food writer from England. He wrote a autobiography called Toast, and he put together this book, which is all the essays he wrote that are about Christmas, and they're dated. Like you can see that one says November 8th. You can sit in the bath and leading up to Christmas, you can read, one beautiful chapter after another. After Christmas, he gives you a lot of chapters, and one of the chapters after Christmas was grapefruit marmalade. Nigel Slater warns us, do not make your marmalade on a day when you have to do something else or you need your kitchen to be really spotless, because it does make a massive mess. But it's worth it. Isn't it, boys?
You betcha.
They had it for breakfast before we started shooting. So grapefruit marmalade, what is it? It's just jam. Marmalade, I'm not really sure what there must be a reason why they use that word, but marmalade basically is a more bitter jam, usually with pieces of the rind of the thing, okay? And we're going to make grapefruit marmalade. So I bought these. These happen to be organic. They don't have to be organic, but you still have to wash them. Now in this case, I wash them with mild soap and then rinse them. They have to be clean from insecticide and poo hands because you're gonna use the rind. Step one, you're gonna juice your grapefruits. Juice them into a pot. Don't use aluminum. Do you know there's a link between aluminum in people's blood and Alzheimer's? Interesting. Not sure how far they've gotten with that research, but there you go. Take your grapefruit and juice it. You're using the natural pectin that's in the grapefruit skins. And I'm going to explain all about pectin to you, which is not very fascinating. Brandon has watched me receive boxes and boxes of different kinds of pectin. We do have a Magic of Television one, but this is real-time juicing. Now, here's the interesting part. You want this, okay? So put that in your sieve if your thing gets too clogged up. And if you're using another kind of juicer, just remember you want pulp. I'm pouring this through the sieve and continuing on. Try not to get the pulp in the juice, but it's not going to be the end of the world if you do. Having made this several times in preparation for the show, I'm not sure how necessary the overnight thing is. Okay, but we're gonna show you Nigel Slater's recipe, which includes an overnight resting, in theory, to release the pectin from the skins into the liquid. Did I mention pectin? Who loved marmalade? Was it Paddington Bear? Oh, I loved Paddington when I was little. Victoria Station? Is that where he lived? Yeah. Well, I used to come into Victoria Station, which was very exciting. The worst thing is when you're traveling in another country and you're using their train or their subway system and they have something where you have to put the card and then and you mess up and then you're in front of some poor guy going to work, and I hate that. This is fun. Maybe it's fun to do with a kid. Je ne sais pas. Pull this stuff out. You kind of want to get your thumb underneath it. See how I'm pulling the skin? That's what you want. Now, you're gonna wrap this in a cloth and you're gonna soak it, press it down and soak it in the juice overnight. See, it's kind of a mess. And let me tell you, if you have any minute cuts on your fingers, you're gonna find out all about them right now. I don't have any cheesecloth because I forgot to buy it. So take something like this. Put it in the center of your hopefully cheesecloth. He says to put a lemon. This is what I'm gonna do. Now I'm tying this up. This is gonna soak in the juice overnight to supposedly release the pectin. But guess what? You can buy pectin. Maybe we should go talk to Brandon about pectin again. I think he's totally fascinated by it. Here's me bundle. I'm putting it in the pot and I'm sort of pressing it down in here as hard as I can. Now I'm gonna cut the little pieces of grapefruit that you find in grapefruit marmalade. Make it square, and you're gonna cut these as thin as you can. These are little teeny strands of skin. that you find. You can also do this if you want. You can cut off a little bit of the pith if you choose. And then you're gonna cut little tiny strips. It's a labor of love. It's an overnight if you use Nigel's recipe. He doesn't approve of adding pectin, which is why he does this. It probably gives it more beautiful flavor to have the skins soaking in it overnight. Okay, I'm gonna cut some of these in half. So there's little teeny pieces, and you're gonna throw those in your liquid. If you wanted, you could make a lime marmalade, you could make any kind of marmalade you want, same process. You could also put our favorite pink peppercorns in here, in the bag. You could put chilies in the bag. You could put pineapple in, you can change it any way you choose. This is ready to be soaked overnight. If you can, put a weight on the bag if it's not totally submerged. It doesn't really matter, but if you can, you want to weight this. This can stay outside of the refrigerator. It doesn't need to go back in the refrigerator. And it overnight. So you can put this on your stove with a lid on it, obviously, so it doesn't get bugs. Then you're gonna make marmalade the following day. Here's the one from last night. I didn't make a ton, okay? Because I have a lot of grapefruit marmalade. So I'm gonna pick up the bag like this, and I'm gonna squeeze it. Nigel says you'd be surprised how much juice is in the bag, and it would be a shame to waste it, and he's right. Okay, let's talk about pectin. There's basically two kinds of pectin, possibly three. One kind of pectin is dry pectin, okay, which is a powder. And one kind of pectin is liquid pectin, which is in a pouch. It looks like this. Pectin comes from fruit. It's not from horse's hooves. It's not gelatin. Sugar and pectin react together to thicken your jam. That's the simple way to put it. This one is made specifically for low sugar jam. This is multi-use, okay? The big difference between the two of these is this you have to put in before you boil your jam, and it has to go all the way through the process, heating up, melting, melding with the sugar. This you can plop into your jam at the end and it turns into marmalade. Okay, purist, easy. What's the other thing that makes jam thick and what you can use so you don't have to use any pectin at all? Sugar. Because sugar reacts with the pectin in the fruit juice and thickens your marmalade. Now, in the full-scale recipe, it's 7 cups of sugar, but it's about, this would be filled with juice. This is 4 cups. I'm gonna eyeball this, okay? I think that might be enough. All right, so I'm looking for sort of that consistency on the bottom. And now I'm gonna boil it. You wanna stir it to keep in case you put it on too high. You don't want the sugar to burn on the bottom. You want this to boil vigorously. See that white stuff? It's scum. Okay, but it's also just bubbles. Do you have to skim it? Do the bubbles go away? Kind of. So in order to skim it, you have to put it in a container, put it in here, rinse it, and then put the pieces back in. Because you're gonna get pieces when you skim. Skimming. See all the marmalade bits that I got as I skimmed? The pieces are softened. Now, if you're not gonna soak it overnight, you know what? I think you're gonna have a problem with the pieces. The pieces are gonna be too hard, said the actress to the bishop. Now I need these back, right? So I'm gonna go like this and rinse them really quickly and put them back in. See how it looks suspiciously like marmalade? I'm gonna boil it until it reaches 220 degrees. But I don't have a candy thermometer, so what I'm gonna use is this, which is completely wrong. However, I'm gonna see if it's close to 220. Oh dear. All right, we have a long way to go here. Oh, you're almost there. You don't want to cook this too long because what happens is the sugar will begin to darken your marmalade, which you don't really want. I'm turning the heat down so I can see it. Looks beautiful. Now, this is a small amount. I don't know if I'm going to need all this. And I will tell you, it does work. So you don't want to get a jam that's too set. So if you tasted this, which I'll do so you can see, it tastes like lemon skin. Wow, it's really sour. I'm just going to put the whole thing in. Okay, I'm going to bring it to a little teeny weeny boil again, just to heat up the pectin. Oh, we might need a little bit more, actually. I'm pretty sure jam makers nationwide are like, what? So you remember when we made the guest streaks and everything at Christmas? And I told you to look how it boils differently. Now that's what you're looking for. Slow bubble popping. See, it makes a little eruption, but the bubbles don't pop right away. That's how you know it's thickening. The thickness of the jam is not when it's hot, it's when it's cool. So if you make it the thickness that you want the jam to be when it's hot, it's gonna be a solid block when it cools. Now you can see the bubbles slowing down, but I'm still not getting the big ones that pop. Those are the ones you really want. I'm gonna stop boiling this because I'm getting the big stationary bubbles that are not popping. Those are the good ones. I've already told you I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this, okay? I'm a novice. I'm sharing with you this cool thing because I think it's delicious. I'm very happy with these big bubbles on the side. They're not popping. I'm turning it off. Ladies and gentlemen, if you try to can this now, you will disfigure yourself, okay? Something that they're very uptight about in the canning world is sterilizing the jars. It's true. If you're gonna eat it fast, it doesn't really matter. If you're gonna put it in the basement on shelves like you always imagined you were gonna do, but you never did, you have to sterilize the jars. You can boil the jars in water, you can put them in the oven, you can pour boiling water in them, but if you want it to last for 6-7 months, you should sterilize the jar. Or you can take them right out of the dishwasher. You know, you don't want to put it in like something you washed with your hand because there is bacteria in that. Okay, great. I'm gonna let this cool down and then I'm gonna ladle it into some jars. So this is almost overset. I put in a little too much pectin. I'm telling you, it's a learning curve, guys. It's delicious, but it's actually, it's fine. But it's much more set than my other batch, which is like that. It's less set, but it spreads perfectly. It actually looks less set there than it is on your toast. But anyways, let's put this in a jar. Should be amusing. And these make great presents. It's sort of a bright, beautiful flavor, you know? Okay. Ooh, tart. Memory of sunshine. Look at that. Top, which is, there's too much marmalade in here, but oh well. Beauty in a jar. Why not make marmalade? Warning, don't do it when you need the kitchen really clean, or you have cuts on your hands, or you have to clean everything up by yourself and it gets depressing at the end, which I've done now 3 times. This is time number 4. Make some marmalade. You won't get paid, but it's still a good day. Please follow us on Instagram. Like the videos, it really helps on YouTube. Subscribe, push the notification button if you can, if you feel like it. If you could do that, it would be awesome. Marmalade. Hold on. Marmalade. The manager on the Partridge Family was Mr. Kincaid. Let me do it again. Marmalade. Does anybody remember the band Slade?